It was another night of extraordinary action in the NBA. These playoffs have truly lived up to their hype, and we're motoring along to a grandstand finish. Today, we're reviewing the action that included a Giannis-inspired Bucks comeback and an outrageous romping win by the Grizzlies over the Warriors. Let's dive right in. Bloody Giannis explodes in comeback. If it weren't for Giannis putting in world-class performances week in, week out for a few seasons now, he'd be taking his MVP award out for a late-night spin. He's stepped up in clutch moments so often that it almost feels like routine when he does it. The Bucks rode their star player's exceptional 40-point showing, which was hugely helped by Jrue Holiday's clutch defensive plays as they made an unlikely comeback against the Boston Celtics, winning 110-107. Giannis took a sharp elbow to his eye, apparently during a play, and even that didn't stop the Greek Freak from delivering one of the best performances of the playoffs this year. He came up with a clutch three-pointer to tie the game and set up a thrilling finish. Even though he missed a couple of free throws in between, they weren't enough for the Celtics to take charge, and the 27-year-old hit the go-ahead shot, putting the Bucks ahead for the first time since the second quarter. Despite Giannis' spectacular show, Holiday's contributions cannot be ignored, as he scored 24 points along with 8 rebounds and 8 assists, not to mention a game-winning block and steal on Marcus Smart, which sealed the comeback for the Bucks. The Celtics have an exceptional defense, so if a player scores over 20 to 25 in a clutch game against them, you know he's done really well, and that's why we're in awe of Giannis and Holiday as they completely turned the game and the series around. Can the Bucks close out the series? This unlikely victory means that the Bucks hold a 3-2 advantage going into Game 6 and have the home court advantage as well. Of course, this is big news for the Milwaukee franchise because now they have a shot at closing out the series without having to travel to Boston for what would be an incredible Game 7. It won't be straightforward, but they'll feel in control of the series, and that's a strong way of going into a potential knockout game. The Celtics will be kicking themselves because at one point they were leading by 14 points against the Bucks. Tatum was on fire in the first half with 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. However, things quickly took a turn for the worse in the third quarter as the Bucks went 8-1, and frustration on Ime Udoka's face was quite apparent. Either way, it's a missed opportunity for the Celtics because they could have had 2 shots at progression to the finals. Going into Game 6, the Celtics have an unlikely boosting factor, and that'll make them feel slightly better. That's because Game 6 could mark the return of Chris Middleton, who's missed the entire series due to a knee injury. He's eyeing a return for the next game, and his return could boost his side's chances. It's obvious that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum need a bit of help after combining for 60 points that still weren't enough to help them win. Warriors crushed by the Grizzlies. It wasn't supposed to be like this. It certainly wasn't supposed to be this easy, at least. That's what the Warrior fans must be thinking and saying to one another after a horrendous showing by GSW against the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies were missing the face of their franchise, Ja Morant, for a second successive game, and it was supposed to be their final participation in the playoffs. Although, what followed was an unimaginable and potentially morale-draining loss for the Warriors, who succumbed to a rout. The Grizzlies broke a 70-year record against them after leading by more than 50 points with only 12 minutes left on the clock. No other side has managed to lead by that much in the last 70 years in the playoffs. And they also scored 77 in the first half, setting a new franchise record. The damage on the night was done mostly thanks to a coming-of-age performance by Grizzlies star Jaren Jackson Jr., who combined with Tyus Jones and Desmond Bane to destroy the Warriors. Despite some staggering performances, the show was stolen by the Grizzlies DJ on the night, who blasted "Whoop That Trick" as a sly dig at Steph Curry's earlier comments. Curry, before the game, had declared that the Warriors planned to whoop that trick, and that song's been a rallying cry for the Memphis fans throughout the years. Apt timing from the DJ was crucial in rubbing salt in the wounds of the Warriors fans, but it seemed as if the Warriors players, including Draymond Green and Steph Curry, were enjoying the night, despite the brutal beating they took. What to expect from Warriors-Grizzlies Game 6? Steph Curry, not so long ago, after a comeback win against the Grizzlies in this series, pointed out how the Warriors have the championship DNA. That's true in theory, given how they've had a lot of success in recent years years and have dug deep in crucial moments, but since then, they haven't looked like themselves in recent games. The Warriors will need to use that experience if they're going to avoid a potential slip-up against the Grizzlies. Steve Kerr is expected to miss Game 6 too, and that could be a turning point for the Morant-less Grizzlies as they attempt to force a decider in the series. The Grizzlies, on the other hand, should feel confident with their chances. Yes, without Morant, it isn't exactly an easy task, but they went 20-5 during the regular season when Morant was injured. In the playoffs, they've shown both sides, the struggles and the thriving side, without their star player in Game 4 and Game 5. It's almost like Morant's forced exclusion means that they have several outs rather than just the one. That makes them a fearsome opponent for the Warriors. We think the series will be decided by which version of Jordan Poole turns up for Game 6. If it's the one we saw in the earlier playoff games versus the Grizzlies, then the Memphis-based franchise can say goodbye to their chances. Although, if they manage to neutralize him the way they've done in the last couple of games, then the Grizzlies can be optimistic about their hopes of progression. Other related news: Embiid disappointed with exit, blasts Harden. Joel Embiid was disappointed with his side's exit from the playoffs at the hands of the impressive Miami Heat side. He proceeded to take aim at Harden, saying that he isn't the same player he once was. It's true, and probably even Harden agrees with the assessment. Not everyone can age gracefully on the court like LeBron, and with Harden turning 33 in a couple of months, his good days are definitely behind him. If anything, Game 6 between the Sixers and the Heat confirmed that Harden hasn't got it in him to play second fiddle in a team like the Sixers. Although, at the same time, Embiid has to share some of the blame too. His continuous issues with injuries that lead him to miss important playoff fixtures are a huge question mark on his legacy. After all, it's not like Embiid's not had any luck with good players on the side. That being said and done, pointing fingers is never the correct way of dealing with a disappointing result. The Sixers need to let the dust settle on their performances and use the offseason to come up with a solid plan on how to tackle the upcoming season and what kind of trades they should be looking to make. Will they be looking to move Harden on, or will he be afforded another opportunity next year as he chases an elusive ring? Mavs' stellar showing in Game 6. It's not only Giannis carrying his side to the finals, as Doncic's stellar play keeps the Mavs in, with a chance for a huge upset against the Suns. Dallas has time and again proven their ability to feast on turnovers, and the Suns can't live with them at the moment. Yes, the Mavs needed some luck, but their 16 steals were a season best, and Doncic led the charge with game-high 33 points, 11 rebounds, 4 steals, and 8 assists. Only LeBron has turned up more often with these clutch performances before the age of 24 than Luka Doncic. For the Suns, CP3 has been MIA since his earlier heroics in the series. He's averaging less than 10 points, 6.3 assists, and 4.5 turnovers in the game, and that's just not good numbers for a side looking to win the championship. Jason Kidd deserves the credit for blunting CP3, as the Mavs have simply not allowed him to take a ton of shots, and that's been the biggest issue. Spencer Dinwiddie's return for the Mavs has boosted their chances of mounting a potential upset against the table-topping Suns. They'll be praying for more of the same from Dinwiddie, Doncic, and the rest of the Dallas side as they travel to Phoenix for the decider. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Giannis will inspire the Bucks to the conference finals? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.